जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे। So today we will see the whole concept of approach to the theory of karma. The beauty of karma theory, when we accept karma, especially for ourselves, telling others accept your karma can be generally very insensitive, because acceptance of karma by one's own self makes one very empowered. But when karma is imposed, the theory of karma is imposed, it becomes very suffocating. And therefore we see, even though it's very scientific, very logical, for every action there is opposite and equal reaction. The word karma, like there was a football coach in Europe, he made some statement about how people suffer because of their own karma. They sacked him. Why? Because ignorance of the theory of karma. Secondly, imposition of karma theory. And the most important part is, karma theory is a bitter pill to follow. It hurts the ego like hell. And therefore we'll have to find, to satisfy the ego, some other cause for our pain other than our own self. We find some other cause for our inefficiency or incompetency, right? So that is so it's easier to make Damodar Dulal Prabhu आपका is on है. So we need to find somebody else responsible, so that consciously and unconsciously we don't take action for our own reformation or a growth. Because taking responsibility and forcing responsibility have a great consequences difference. When somebody forces upon, it doesn't matter how old, how young we are, because when we take it, it empowers to another level only. When it is forced upon it, maybe sometimes some people do, but nowadays so especially, it will be seen as, oh, it was such a bad experience in my childhood, it was forced upon me. So therefore, this is very important to understand. And if you study Krishna's Bhagavad Gita, as Krishna explains in the 13th chapter, Purusha Prakritistoyi Bhungte Prakritir Jain Guna Karana Guna Sangasyad Sad Asadyoni Janmashi. Right, when the Jiva, being situated in Prakriti, desires what? Desire. Like in the Stoic philosopher, they said, there are three things in the creation. There is Ichha, there is action to fulfill that Ichha, and accepting this two previous reality as a reality of everyone's life. Right? Everyone's life. So therefore here Krishna basically here Krishna basically, what is he saying? That is Ichha. And that Ichha, when it is connected to three modes of material nature, certainly gives rise to vasanas. And those vasanas give us the superior and inferior body, right? वो आपका genes लेकर आते हो. And generally, the external intelligence, the ability to grasp information. See, character development is a continuous hard work. But the external intelligence, sometimes you find uh, we have people, great astrologers, Jyotishkar. I think I've seen one devotee's chart written when he was born in the typical traditional style. Everything he had written, what will happen, which year, what will happen, what kind of education he will have. पूरा सुंदर मराठी में लिखा हुआ है. Beautiful Marathi, it is written. But the mother of that child who saw the chart couldn't accept the knowledge given by the astrologer because his life was extremely addictive. He was a drunkard. He was non-responsible person. तो उसके अंदर ज्ञान था परंतु आचार नहीं था. तो जनरली होता क्या है, the traditional people, they unite the आचार and the knowledge. जैसे फायदा क्या है, इतना ज्ञान है परंतु आचार नहीं. Right? There is some sense to that. But some more smarter people might say, look, I am not interested in his character. I am interested in his skills. I'll pick up the skill. So what comes through genes is generally the ability, your skills. If you talk to a Brahmana, one who is born in a Brahmin family, mantra recitation with some effort becomes natural for them. Learning becomes natural for them. Like one devotee was mentioning, when when Bihar and Jharkhand were together, and the Jharkhand people wanted a separation from Bihar because everything was controlled by the Bihar. तो खुद का अपना राज्य चाहते थे, झारखंड मुक्ति मोर्चा. Right? When it was separated, the power came into the local people. But for them to run smoothly, they had to take people from upper class and especially from the Brahmin community. ये कभी हटने वाला नहीं है क्योंकि मनुष्य निर्मित नहीं. It is not man-made system. Man must have abused the advantage, but the advantage is given by the Prakriti. And little smartness will make one understand, if I want to function, if I want to be successful, I need to have people who are intelligent around me. So it is Prakriti since the beginning, eternally creates this disparity between the good and the bad, between the able and not so able, between the privileged and not so privileged. Right? I think I quoted our Will Durant. He explains very, very nicely that the politics, the Itihas shows that democracy has not increased freedom for people. Democracy has concentrated the resources again. For example, that Indian BCCI also paying equal salary to the women sports people, not empowering the women again there is a concentration with few women who will make unimaginable money, right? 10-15 प्लेयर्स को मिलेगा, बाकी लाखों स्त्रियां हैं, वो 3,000 में, 10,000 में, 5,000 में जीवन चलाएंगे, right? So what does the capitalism do? Capitalism increases the concentration of the resources in a very unreasonable way, right? But at the same time, the scripture or common sense or Prakriti says that look, this is the reality. What is the reality? The reality of distinction between one living entity to other living entity. What makes them come together is the cultural. It is the reality of empowerment, right? जब भी आप raw material को देखोगे, there will be big difference between one from other, right? Recently, somebody sent a chart of Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Maharaj, which is being circulated. Why he did not become successful? I'm looking for proper reference for that. Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur saw his chart, and Rahu was sitting in a place where his talent, his ability was covered, so he did not become as successful as somebody else, specifically Prabhupada, right? तो ये प्रकृति का नियम है, इसको बदल नहीं सकते हो. You see also, people may deny. Radhanath Swami Maharaj will spend time with more resourceful people, right? और उसमें कोई गलती नहीं है. अगर आप प्रोजेक्ट चलाना चाहते हो, कुछ करना चाहते हो, those who are intelligent people, those resourceful people, right, they will get greater attention. अगर आप इसको स्वीकार नहीं करोगे, इसको डिनाई करोगे, ऐसा नहीं है, वैसा नहीं, you are hurting your own self, right? क्योंकि कृष्ण कह रहे इधर superior and inferior, and then he explained, this is the 13th chapter. I said those who understand the truth about Jivatma, Paramatma, Prakriti, and the interaction of the Prakriti with three modes of material nature, only such people will not take birth. उनको शरीर नहीं. Therefore, Jnanottara Bhakti, bhakti flavored with proper understanding gives rise to freedom, not after the death for information. It begins from now, right? Otherwise, one of the disadvantage of devotion without proper shastric knowledge, it gives rise to intensified sentiments. भावनाएं इतने ज्यादा हो जाती है, it becomes emotionally extremely strong, and therefore it has the power to make you unreasonable in your expectation, right? Unreasonable in your expectation. And we see that, sometime, where people demand, अरे हम इतने सीनियर होने पर भी हमें रिस्पेक्ट नहीं मिलता, हमने इतना साल बिताया, we don't get as much we are supposed to get. Again, understand very clearly, the society will not care for your seniority. The society has some etiquette. The etiquette is that your senior, आपको बैठने के लिए सीट मिलेगा, लेकिन व्यासासन नहीं मिलेगा, just because you are a senior. Please understand the difference. You will get an honorable seat. आपको भारत रत्न मिल सकता है, लेकिन प्रधानमंत्री नहीं बनोगे, लाल कृष्ण आडवाणी. Right? He was the one who was the foundational person who created the Ram Janmabhoomi movement, made BJP a pan-national party, but he always missed it. Why? Because there was something missing in him. And apply this principle to every aspect of life, whether it could be your family, whether it could be a national political party, whether it could be a company, or for that matter, on a everyday basis, you can see in your own house also. आपके घर में, right? One boy was telling me, right? Very competent, very, extremely successful in his life, right? So the point is, the husband is threatened, not exactly threatened, that what my wife spends more time with the son. तो सोचो, अगर पुत्र का संबंध, the son finds greater compatibility with the mother, or for that matter father, whichever one, spends more time with one particular individual, you can't expect socialistic idea in this relationship. Or you have to spend 50-50%. That is not going to happen. You may demand for it. You may say it has to happen like this. One of them, they are matured people, they may say, "Arey jao thoda time beach ke aao." That is simply a patchwork. That's a cultural patchwork. Ki chalo thoda time bita ke aao. But you go with the intention to conclude the meeting as early as possible, but you try to avoid showing it. But जिनके साथ में बनती है, जिनके साथ में आपकी बनती है, there you do not go for concluding the meeting. You always feel, अरे बाप रे इतना टाइम हो गया क्या? Because you have some other engagement. So these are the hard facts of life, right? These are the realities of life. So therefore, emotional equality, social equality, democratic equality can create some kind of equality, but they are not sustainable because Prakriti does not agree with it. So if we understand this, what does Krishna say? There is a greater chance that it will be liberated. हम मुक्ति की बात नहीं कर रहे हैं, आज की बात कर रहे हैं. हाँ, कृष्ण इधर मुक्ति की बात कर रहे हैं. He's talking about mukti, right? But today also he'll feel liberated. The living entity, thus taking another gross body, obtains a certain type of ear, eye, tongue, nose, and sense of touch, which are grouped about the mind. He thus enjoys particular set of sense objects. How precise Krishna is. आपके शरीर के अनेक अंग, different parts of your body limb also denotes your past. यानी कि हर चीज के पीछे कोई ना कोई कारण है, कोई एक्सीडेंट नहीं है. There is no accident whatsoever. Like other day, our friend psychologist, he was treating one patient, and he explained, based upon Bharatiya Manas Shastra, so based upon the modern medical this thing also, that as you go deeper in understanding people's issues, every issue, if it is perpetual, it has a manifestation on different part of the body. And if you are a medical doctor, Karan Mittal is a medical doctor also. He has studied Ayurveda also. He studied astrology also. He studied psychology also. So connecting all this thing becomes very easy. Imagine Krishna is saying your tongue, your ear, your nose, your sense of touch, which are grouped about the mind. When you are making pulav rice, every ingredient is important. Every timing, 20 मिनट चावल को बॉईल करना है, राइट? जैसे बॉम्बे में देयर आर 2-3 places, they make kulcha, Punjabi parathas, but they bring the water from Amritsar only. That Amritsar water is an important ingredient, but that is not the only ingredient. You have to have other ingredients also. तो आपके सारे स्पेसिफिक इंग्रेडिएंट एक साथ में आएंगे, grouped about mind. Then your performance, right, will be different from somebody else's performance. Therefore, same thing with sadhana. Sadhana cannot be equal to everybody. Everyone has a different speed limit. हर एक के पास अलग अलग गाड़ियां हैं. ऐसे हजारों लोगों को एक साथ में लाने पर, who have a different style of performing their sadhana, you can create some unity. Okay, this 10 people are chanting 16 rounds while sitting. This people are chanting 4 rounds sitting and 8 rounds, moving here and there. Imagine पहले से जबरदस्ती सबको एक ही साथ में एक ही तरीके से करने के लिए प्रयास करोगे. It may work because it is new. It may work because your body is strong. But to sustain it, it is not possible. Therefore, Krishna explains, the foolish cannot understand how a living entity can quit his body, nor can they understand what sort of body he enjoys under the spell of modes of nature. फिर से, but whose eyes are trained in knowledge can see all these things. See the seamlessness of Prakriti. Every body with every senses, every house you are born, every sanskara that you have picked up, you are responsible for it. And imagine you find somebody who is superior in regards to more accepted by the society, more accepted by the teacher compared to yours. Right? What is the first statement will be sure? Oh, my teacher is partial to that person. This is not. Oh, he's neglecting me. यानी कि दिखाई दे रहा है कि मेरा जो आउटपुट है, मेरा जो प्रोडक्टिविटी है, compared to somebody else is only 40%. Right? We see the BCCI has a grade, A grade, B grade, C grade. Right? The A grade, now they're going to increase the salary to 9 crore rupees. They are all in the central contract. That means they can be chosen to play T20 one day or test match. Virat Kohli gets 9 crore rupees. And someone अभी अभी आकर 2-3 सेंचुरी मारा है, could be doing better than Virat Kohli in regards to last 6 months, but उसकी सैलरी कितनी होगी? 2 करोड़ की होगी. Only 2 crore rupees. Why do they not speak about equality here then? It's a government which talks about socialistic scheme. It is providing this discriminative salary. So therefore, it is very important to understand through the eye of knowledge why that disparity exists, why it will exist, and what should I do with this. If you have someone, your brother, sister, exceptionally good, and you are nowhere close to them, it is very difficult for that exceptionally good student. It is also very difficult to the children, siblings who are not exceptionally good. उसमें दरार आ जाता है. और कभी कभी दुर्भाग्य, sometimes the parents might tell the exceptionally good student, don't become so good. They may not say these words, but they try to discourage from the child being exclusive, wanting their other children to keep up, facilitate them. So therefore, it is important the endeavoring transcendentalists who are situated in self-realization can see all this clearly. But those whose minds are not developed, they cannot. So the point what we are discussing, it is not about Atma Sakshatkar here. It is just here. What Krishna is saying is Atma Sakshatkar. I'm saying even somewhere close understanding through common sense has the power to give that information, that clarity, that substantial understanding. Right? And therefore, if you see the instruction given by Krishna or any of his avatara, even after practicing Shuddha Bhakti, will be based upon the foundation of Karma Siddhanta only. For example, when Lord Narsimhadev told Prahlad Maharaj, what did he say? The entire connection has happened. Lord Narsimhadev has blessed Prahlad Maharaj. But still, when Prahlad, last part, Lord Narsimhadev says, Bhogena punyam kushalena papam. Kalevaram kala javena hitva. He said, hey, my dear Prahlad, enjoy your potentials. यानी कि आपके पुण्य का भोग करे, पाप को कुशलता के साथ में डील करे. Right? Even up until this is there for the Sudama flourish, this is there for Dhruva Maharaj, and this is there for the gopis also. Do not separate them. Shukadeva Goswami, when he was narrating the Ras Leela, he spoke about some gopis who were not allowed to meet with Krishna. जाने की कातरता थी, जाने की इच्छा थी, मुझे जाना है, I want to be there. Right? The flute play of Krishna had captured all their punya and gave them concentrated happiness. Concentrated happiness मिलता नहीं है. Happiness कैसे मिलता है? Consistency में मिल सकता है. अच्छा आपको चावल मिल रहा है खाने के लिए, अच्छा दही मिल रहा है खाने के लिए. Right? Like steady small piece of that happiness steadily going from this year to so many years. Right? That is the non-concentrated happiness. धीरे 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 जा रहा है. And then what does Krishna say? Bhogena punyam kushalena papam. So for the gopis, it is only for the gopis it happened. क्या दूसरों के लिए वो नहीं होगा क्या? हो सकता है, लेकिन जनरली होता नहीं है. Therefore, Krishna's instruction, whether to Prahlad, whether to the florist, whether to Dhruva Maharaj, whether for that matter, even those gopis who are extremely absorbed in Krishna, is to go back. Go back and be what you are supposed to be on the level of your psychophysical nature. Be gopis as the cowherd girls who will pick up the butter, right? Who will milk the cows. But here, I remember one time, I was speaking somewhere, specifically this verse where Shukadeva Goswami is speaking to Parikshit Maharaj. Some gopis who were not allowed to go, all their happiness, oh, we are going to meet Krishna. had concentrated all of their punya karma. हो गया, एंजॉयमेंट खत्म हो गया उनका, जो लाइफ टाइम के लिए होना था उनका एक ही दिन में खत्म हो गया. It generally doesn't happen. That's what I'm making the point. And the second part was when they were stopped from going all the pain of their limitation which they were supposed to go was concentrated and खत्म हो गया एक ही साथ में. और जब आपका पाप और पुण्य एक ही साथ में खत्म हो जाता है, when पाप पुण्य is simultaneously destroyed, you do not have the body, right? You do not have the body. So in this part of the Bhagavatam, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur focuses more on the eternality of the gopis rather than the principle what we are discussing now, right? The good side and the limited side, it doesn't focus on that. But I was focusing on the verse. So one devotee is the scholar, right? He was irritated, upset a little bit. How can you say about the gopis? I said, Shukdev Goswami said, right? Prahlad Maharaj is getting that kind of benediction. You do not get rid of your karma. As long as you have the body, the advice will be, you will be part of the discriminatory world, a diverse world, a competency which is not of a uniformity section. As I said, whether it is Radhanath Swami Maharaj, whether it is Prabhupada, if you are competent, capable, you get to spend more time. Arjuna, Krishna, who is equal to all, but on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, he chose to drive the horses of Arjuna because he was the greatest archer. Right? Amongst the 5 Pandavas, Krishna said, I am Arjuna. इसका अर्थ नहीं कि बाकियों को निग्लेक्ट किया जा रहा है, उनको निग्लेक्ट नहीं करना है, परंतु जो बाकी जो नहीं समझ रहे कि मैं अर्जुन नहीं हूं, आई एम नकुल एंड सहदेव हूं, they should have the graciousness, they should have the ability to say, Arjun, you do not minimize your performance for the sake of us. If you are making 100 rupees and we are making 4 rupees, now don't tell that person who makes 100 rupees to make only 3 rupees so that the others will not feel hurt. In exhibiting the capacity, there will be a distinction. There will be a distinction. In empowering people, right, you will not see distinction between this student and that student. हर एक के लिए आप 100 रुपए दे रहे हो, हर एक के लिए खाना दे रहे हो. What could be the common? Eating food is common. Eating water is, drinking water is common. Staying in a place, like if they are in a boarding school, he will give everything with an equal proportion to all the students. But their productivity will always differ. And if that differed productivity, how it is hurting you, it is causing pain to you, and therefore you create a system. No, we want equal, we want equal. Nowadays, there is a trend in this Western world market, especially one student was telling that if you mention that I'm a special category, LGBTQ community, then the job preference increases for you. तो ये क्या कर दिया उन्होंने, मेरिट के बदले में सिलेक्शन कर दिया, राइट? And when you select people based upon certain criteria other than the criteria of competence and self growth, it is bound to fail. Not only it fails you, it fails the whole system only. Therefore, bhed in every aspect of life and abhed in many aspects of life is a continuous reality of human existence. जितना जल्दी स्वीकार करेंगे उतना कम दुखी होंगे, जितना ज्यादा गहराई में स्वीकार करेंगे उतना सेल्फ सेटिस्फाइड बनेंगे. वी विल नॉट डिमांड मुझे मिलना ही चाहिए, नहीं मिलेगा बाबा. राइट. थैंक यू. एनी क्वेश्चंस और कमेंट्स? Yes. Yeah.
Can you hear me, Prabhuji?
Yes, yes, yes.
So, Prabhuji, what you mentioned right now, so that happens even with regard to services being given. I remember you mentioning that when somebody has to do kirtan, it is the skill that matters and not their seniority or their sincerity in devotional service. So, but if devotees they don't understand this aspect because it's not spoken about in normal circles, like what you are explaining first, which is very true. So then people get very frustrated, even with regard to initiation or with regard to being given certain services. They don't understand that maybe they are not skilled enough. So that is why they are not being given those things, and then they get frustrated. So, like on a one-to-one basis, maybe I may explain to somebody, but generally people don't have this concept. So, how do we spread this? Like
that is the sad part. We have distributed Bhagavad Gita in millions, but the content of the Bhagavad Gita, which is so clearly discussed by Krishna, what happens, unfortunately, we create narratives of Bhagavad Gita rather than teaching Bhagavad Gita. What are the narratives of Bhagavad Gita? That if you surrender to Krishna, everybody is equal. That is correct. But in regards to where? In regards to devotion, in regards to competence, in regards to performance, in regards to your genetical, upbringing, right? Then we don't teach 6.40, 6.41, 6.42. In Devata Puja, we only teach 9th chapter, but we don't teach the 3rd chapter. We teach Sarvadharman Parityaja, but we don't teach the 5.16 where Krishna is saying, okay, I'm not responsible for your limitations, I'm not responsible for your potential. Na main paap ka, na punya ka bhag leta hu, living, and it is covered by his own ignorance. Right? Therefore, just like I was telling somebody, just like when somebody goes to school, they have no clue what is mathematics. They may hear from the parents, mathematics padhne wala acha doctor engineer banega. So that is a background. But unless that child goes to the class, and in the school, all of us know maths, science, English were given such an importance. Out of 6 days in the school day, even when the school was half day, these 3 subjects would never take a Vishram. हर रोज पढ़ाते थे. Somebody mentioned that character is also learning a subject only. Right? इसको हर रोज लैब के पास लेके जाकर सिखाने से. Like other day I was listening to some American lady. She said, we have taken away the experience of pain from children. We have taken away the experience of patience from children. We have made their life so convenient. And on top of that, we say you should be patient. How will they be patient when they have never experienced patience? How will they handle pain when we have pampered them so much? जीवन के education system में, if these things are not regularly offered, suddenly the philosophy will not help them. the philosophy will be misused. Oh, why like that? Right? Or the philosophy will be presented in one way, but practiced in another way. Like all spiritual organizations for that matter. Very clear. The definition of a sannyasi cannot be practiced in an institution where it deals with the projects. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita, right? Kaviraj Goswami gives from Nyaya Shastra as far as I understand. सन्यासी न किसी का प्रेज करना चाहिए, न किसी के प्रति द्वेष करना चाहिए. Vidura explains in the Mahabharata, a sannyasi cannot give charity to anybody, cannot accept charity from anybody. वो कहते हैं कि निष्क्रिय गृहस्थ और सक्रिय सन्यासी समाज के बोझा है. Right? So, but then if you have certain things to do according to the changing time, so you cannot expect them to be free from this two duality of praising someone and not praising somebody. They become more like a CEO. They become more like a king. Are they wrong? No, it's not about right or wrong. What role they've accepted. So it becomes my responsibility to understand, to be a student. We seldom become student, more we become followers. हमें विद्यार्थी बनने का अवसर मिलता नहीं other than the school. भक्ति शास्त्री 2-3 महीना भक्ति शास्त्री सर्टिफिकेट लेने के लिए. Right? They're all made in such a way. Again, it's not about right or wrong. If the organization has to function, the best system, whatever is happening. But if you want to learn Bhagavad Gita and you want to have a self-growth, so we have to harmonize between the efficiency, organizational efficiency and shastrikal understanding. नहीं तो हमेशा ये समस्या रहेगा, where people will be in denial. Oh, why is he spending more time? Why is he not doing this? Right? वो फिर हमेशा दर्द रहेगा. And जितना मिसअंडरस्टैंडिंग रहेगा, जितना दर्द रहेगा, उतना मुक्ति का अनुभव नहीं कर रहे हम लोग. Therefore, again, Krishna, what does he say? Beautiful. Gita is so good. He says, one who is situated in the boat of knowledge. Api chetasya papebhya sarvebhya papakritam. Nahi jnanena sadrisham pavitram iha vindate. There is nothing more sublime than knowledge. Right? Other day we were discussing the issue of that child abuse. Some of the counselors came and asked Premila Mataji, why I have to bring all this here? No, sincere people, but desensitized because of lack of knowledge. तो अज्ञान जो है ना, अज्ञान और भक्ति का समन्वय हो गया ना, it is like T20 मैच. अज्ञान और भक्ति का समन्वय होगा तो T20 का मैच है. लग गया तो सेंचुरी, नहीं तो फिर हार्दिक पांड्या. Getting booed like anything. It is not a joke. It is the reality. It's an interesting understanding. Therefore, Gita is the foundation. Upanishads are foundation. Nyaya Shastras are foundation. Which give us, and जब तक मैं खुद नहीं सीखूंगा, Guru Maharaj can pacify you. But when you go back to your own place, again the pain will prevail. माँ बच्चों को स्पर्श का सुख दे सकती है, पैट कर सकती है, गले लगा सकती है, but unless she facilitated the child to learn, all this will help. In fact, they're very intoxicating. In fact, they give a spirit of feeling good, but not growing to be good. Right? So many times we make people feel good rather than helping them to grow good. Right? So the Gita ka whole principle, because the Gita believes that every living entity is full of knowledge, full of bliss, full of eternality. I'm preparing for Ramayana. तो उसमें अहल्या का उद्धार को लेकर यही बताया गया है कि धर्म ट्रेडिशन, सनातन धर्म का सबसे महत्वपूर्ण मुद्दा क्या है? सबसे महत्वपूर्ण मुद्दा है टू रिक्लेम, नॉट रिक्लेम वर्ड रिक्लेम, to reconnect to their original identity of full of knowledge, full of bliss and full of eternality. Christianity का क्या है? That your original is sinful. अगर आपका origin sin का है, then you need someone superhero to lift you. But आपका original full of knowledge, full of bliss and full of eternality है, how can I take responsibility of your life? Then it shows that I am superior in regards to original. मन बुद्धि अहंकार में बहुत सारा डाइवर्सिटी है, ओरिजिनलिटी में डाइवर्सिटी नहीं है. ओरिजिनलिटी में एवरीवन is originally full of knowledge, full of bliss and full of eternality. Therefore, unless, very important, unless the living entity understands कि मेरा साइकोफिजिकल नेचर में डिस्टिंक्शन है, आज इस समय में 6 फुट का नहीं बन सकता. No. A South Indian girl from Andhra Pradesh, she can be beautiful if her features are good, but not in regards to color. हो सकता है कि उसका थोड़ा डार्क स्किन रहेगा, हो सकता है कि कश्मीर की लड़की एकदम गोरी गोरी चिट्टी रहेगी. Right? So how is the in there will be a lot of distinction between the two. So what does the Prakriti say? He said, I am not going to speed up the process. I want you to learn, and slowly move forward. अगर कोई जनरली ब्राह्मण परिवार में जन्म लिया हुआ है, उसके जीन्स के कारण होशियार रहेगा, मंत्र का उच्चारण ऐसा अच्छा रहेगा, नेतृत्व के आगे रहेगा. दयाराम प्रभु ब्राह्मण, भक्ति रसामृत महाराज ब्राह्मण, गौरांग प्रभु ब्राह्मण, एंड राधेश्याम प्रभु ब्राह्मण, राधा गोपीनाथ प्रभु ब्राह्मण, राइट? भक्ति विनोद महाराज इज ब्राह्मण. अमेरिकन जूइश में सबसे ज्यादा जीबीसी जूइश लोग हैं. Did Prabhupada choose like that? No. But some other Prakriti, what it does, if there is an organization, सारे competent लोग आगे आ ही जाते हैं. They come in the